Onomatopoeia is what we're going to work with today. And what onomatopoeia is a sound. Whenever we're writing, that's all it is, right? It's writing. So when someone reads it, they're reading it in their heads, but they're not watching it. It's not a video. They can't hear it. Like when they pick up something that you wrote, it doesn't read itself to them. They have to read it. Onomatopoeia is like a sound effect that you can write down so that people can kind of imagine what that sound is in their head. Let's take a look at some of these examples. We're going to do the first page together, just like yesterday, so we can get some practice. For these first ones, it has this green rectangle, and it asks me to take the green rectangle and drag it on top of the onomatopoeia, the sound effect. So let's look at that first sentence. The dishes crashed to the floor. What's the sound word in sentence number 1? Alexa, what's the sound word, the onomatopoeia in sentence 1?
Crashed.
Crashed. So I'm going to take this green rectangle and put it on top of crashed. Again, this is just a piece of writing, but when I read that sentence in my head, I can picture what that would sound like. Because I've dropped things before on the floor. So when it says the dishes crashed to the floor, I can use my memory and go, oh yeah, I know what that sounds like. When they hit the floor and they right? What, Nakai? Did you have a question? Okay. Sentence 2. The motor was humming all night. I want to look for that sound effect word, the onomatopoeia word. Who can tell me what's the sound effect word in sentence 2? The motor was humming all night. Kaylee, what's my sound effect word? The motor was humming all night.
Humming.
Humming. Again, even though this is just a piece of writing and it doesn't have any sound effects, I know what humming sounds like. So my sound effect, my onomatopoeia, humming. Number 3, Jake sniffled all day long. Jake sniffled all day long. What's the onomatopoeia in sentence 3? What's my sound effect? Ezekiel, what's the sound effect? Sentence 3.
Sniffled.
Sniffled. Sniffled is my sound effect. Sentence 4. We could hear the chicks peeping. We could hear the chicks peeping. What's the sound effect, the onomatopoeia? Alexa?
Peeping.
Peeping. So the little chicks, the little baby chickens, I don't know if you guys have ever heard them before, if you've ever seen some before. They don't make a whole lot of noise. They don't make like normal chicken noise. They go buck, 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 and beep, 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 beep. And it's when there's a lot of them, man, it can get pretty loud and you can hear a bunch of them at the same time. But instead of being as loud as or making the same sound as like an adult chicken, they make a different sound. Number 5, the door creaked as I opened it. What's the sound effect, the onomatopoeia in sentence 5? Jada? What's the sound effect in sentence 5? Creaked. So maybe it's an old door, maybe the metal part of it is a little bit rusty. So when you open it, it kind of What about number 6? It's bad manners to slurp your soup. What's the onomatopoeia in sentence 6? Noah?
Slurp.
Slurp. So instead of eating their soup like normal, I'm going to make this box a little bit smaller. Instead of eating their soup like normal, they're getting the spoon and all right. The next part, if you look, it's got this little box for me, and it says fill each blank with an onomatopoeia from the box. So these are my choices here. Oh, that's cool, Alexa. So you would probably know what the baby chickens and baby animals sound like when it says they're peeping. So here are our options, okay? There's honking, crunchy, splash, sloshed, zip, buzzing, sizzling, clapped, pop, and rustling.
Hunting.
What's up, Nakai? You have a question? Gotta make sure we have our microphone muted then, okay, Nakai? So we're gonna look at these sentences and we're gonna use one of the words from here to finish it. Sentence number 1 says, the honeybees were blank around the hive. The honeybees were blank around the hive. What word from our box fits in that sentence? Chase, what word do you think I should use? The honeybees were blank around the hive. I gotta be careful, I almost said the word there for you. What word should I use to finish the sentence, Chase? Buzzing, very good. Since they're bees, when they fly around, they kind of make that buzz sound. So, we could say that the honeybees were buzzing around the hive. What's up, Nakai? I didn't hear that one, Nakai. Try again.
Can you go up, please?
At the end, I will. When we finish with this part, I can show the whole page. Sentence 2. Same thing. We've got a blank part of the sentence. We need to fill it with one of the words from the box. If you blank your balloon, I will not buy you another one. If you blank your balloon, I will not buy you another one. What's the sound effect word I should use? Christopher?
Pop.
If you pop your balloon, I will not buy you another one. Christopher, have you ever heard that? You ever gone to the zoo or to the carnival? Yeah? I used to hear the same thing too. Go to the carnival whenever it would come into town or the circus, and we get a balloon and they would tell me, you pop it, that's it, there's no more. You just have to be very careful with that balloon. That and the cotton candy. If you dropped your cotton candy, that was the only one you were getting. What about number 3? I eat a blank red apple every day with my lunch. What's the sound effect, the onomatopoeia I should use? Okay? Which onomatopoeia do you think we should use, Nakai? No, you still have your microphone off, Nakai. Try typing it into the chat. I don't think your internet's working with us today. Who can help him out? What's the onomatopoeia I should use? Noah, what do you think? I eat a blank red apple every day with my lunch.
Crunchy.
Crunchy. Oh, I gotta make it a little bit bigger. I eat a crunchy red apple every day with my lunch. All right. Number 4. We all blank our hands in time to the music. We all blank our hands in time to the music. What onomatopoeia, what sound effect do you think works? Nakai, let's see if your internet's acting better now. What word do you think we should use here?
What?
Which word should I use to fill out that sentence, Nakai? We all blank our hands in time to the music.
Clap.
Clap. So we all clapped. This one needs to be a little bit longer as well. We all clapped our hands in time to the. Number 5. The big rock landed with a blank in the lake. Let me zoom out just a little bit. We can still see. I still want to be able to see the box. There we go. Okay. The big rock landed with a blank in the lake. For right now, Chase, let's just focus on what we're doing. Bradley, what do you think?
A big splash in the lake.
That's a good one. Splash. Big rock landed with a splash in the lake. Okay. Number 6. Can you hear the leaves blank in the wind? What sound effect should we use for the leaves moving in the wind? Can you hear the leaves blank in the wind? Jaylene?
Rustling.
Rustling. That's a good one to use. Can you hear the leaves rustling in the wind? Number 7. There is bread in the toaster and bacon blank on the stove. What's a good sound effect to use for bacon? There is bread in the toaster and bacon blank on the stove. Alexa?
Sizzling?
Sizzling. Number 8. The taxi driver would not stop blank his horn. Taxi driver would not stop blank his horn. Kylie, what sound effect should I use here? What is this taxi driver not doing? Or not stopping, I guess. Honking. Would not stop honking his horn. Forgot an N. Number 9. The coffee blank over the rim of the cup. Nakai, what do you think? The coffee blank over the rim of the cup.
Slosh?
Sloshed. So sloshed is like in this case, if you have a cup of coffee, of milk, whatever. If you fill it up almost to the top, you know how you have to be real careful when you're walking around with it because it'll spill? That's what's happening here. As they're moving with this cup of coffee, it's kind of going side to side. And because it's so close to the top and they're not being careful, the coffee and spills. Not sloshing, but. And number 10, remember to blank up your jacket before you go outside. What's the sound effect that's missing there? Chase? Zip. Remember to zip up your jacket before you go outside. Otherwise, I mean, it doesn't help you as much as it can. Like I said, we did the first page together. What you're going to do now, if you need to, I'm going to leave this page up so that you can copy the parts that you might be missing. But the second page is what you're going to do on your own. So, first part says write an onomatopoeia for each of these sounds. So you're going to come up with a sound effect for each of these things. Snake, a campfire, a branch breaking, a tomato that dropped on the floor. You're going to think of a different sound effect word to use. And then for the second part, you're going to pick 3 of those sound effects and you're going to write it into a sentence. So I'm going to use an example that's not on here. If it said something like a bee, I would use the sound effect buzz. That's what bees do, they buzz around. So my sentence could be something like, the bee buzzed by my ear. So for the first part, all you're doing is writing the word, the sound effect word you think matches. For the second part, part B, you're going to write a whole sentence using that sound effect word. And I'm going to leave up this page just in case there's any parts that you missed. But you're going to go ahead and work on page 2.